Let's get into some of this stuff here. We want to talk about. There's a lot going on with Joker. Tons going on with Joker, and we'll start with that. Jim David, our buddy over at IGN, really, I believe, got one of the only sound bites of Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips talking about the controversy and whether or not they thought it was a controversy. And I saw a little bit of what Joaquin Phoenix was saying, and he was like, it's really not on the filmmakers to make the audience behave morally. It's
right, it's true.
And he said it's the same way that...
What controversy are you talking about, Christian?
That the fact that the movie has been called dangerous and it will cause people to act dangerous and will cause people to act violent. And Joaquin Phoenix, that's not, in a very elegant way, that's not on us, right? And then he said, kind of throwing it back to Jim, and he's like, it's like me telling you not to ask that question because that question that you just asked is going to cause someone to think it. So he's like, I can't ask you to do that because I'm limiting your speech. And I'm limiting you from not asking that question. You have to ask that question because that's your job. And I thought it was a great point.
Well, I think when we were talking about it last week, and a bunch of people reached out to me on Instagram to like hate on me about it, and they're like, you should let people make their movies. Oh, I 100% agree. The point I was trying to make is that not everybody is like us in this room. And some people may watch this and think to themselves, I could do that.
But that's not on the filmmakers.
But that's not on the filmmakers.
Do you
It's on
guys
the
feel
actors. It's on nobody.
Same way about this as you do about violent video games?
Probably, but
it feels like it's in the same kind of thing. It's like I don't believe violent video games cause this, and I don't believe movies like this cause it. It's up to it's the person that does
it's
it.
the mental state.
Also, and it's the mental state. And the other part of this, there was another interview that Phoenix walked out. Did you hear about that?
No. I actually heard about it. I don't know.
Yeah, Robbie Collin has gone viral after the actor walked out. Same question. Joker might perversely end up inspiring exactly the kind of people it's about.
Was he tired of the question?
Phoenix replied, "Why? Why would you? No, and then walked out." So he maybe it's
tired
like tired of the question.
Or tone. And also, like, as a person who interviews people and everybody in this room, you have to figure out when you're going to ask the question. Yes, it might be his job to ask that question.
Right.
Maybe the producer is telling him you have to get this answer. But that doesn't mean you have to lead with it.
Right. Maybe Jim did it in a better way.
Doesn't mean you have to ask it rudely, or you could say, like,
it's a good point.
At any point in it, you could say, you know, it's come up a lot in the news, and I feel like the fans are wondering about this.
Can we find that clip when we walked out and see how the interviewer posed
So I don't know. I didn't listen to him.
You're right.
To your point about violent video games and violent movies, is like anybody can find any inspiration from any violent movie.
Well, this is what I was thinking, and maybe this is I tend to take things to extremes, so forgive me if this. I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but like, you know, what's worse than watching Nazis on screen? Probably nothing, right? Nazis is as bad as it gets. So, do the people who think we shouldn't show Joker stuff think that we also shouldn't show real life events that have taken place?
It's a solid point.
Because now, if
because people get inspired by that.
Yeah, I just don't know, and there is a resurgence of Nazis now, and is that what people are drawing the correlation to?
But I think that's what
what
Joaquin's point was also, is that wacky people can be inspired by anything. So it's like I can't ask you to not ask your question the same way you can't ask us not to make the movie.
And there's like
what's wrong?
Nothing. I clicked on the wrong video. Nothing. It's fine.
The other thing too is like
it's not that either.
The other thing too is, like you said, anything can inspire. I just hope that us talking about it in the press like this doesn't add more fuel to the fire and then actually inspire somebody.
Is there not video on it, guys? Is that what it is? Is it just?
I think I found it. Hold on, give me a
Yeah,
here.
I had a problem finding it.
I think it's just such a slippery slope, and I know that people on the show all the time go back to me talking about what comics can and cannot talk about, which I feel like I was misquoted on. But I just think that as an artist, this is a character that exists. You want to tell your story about it. You tell your story about it. People who are going to do horrible things in the world are going to find reasons to do horrible things, regardless of if the movie The Joker exists or not, regardless if any video game with guns exists or not. All we can try to do is slow these people down, and I don't think that eliminating this kind of work would slow them down.
Well, was that not it, the first one?
No.
Some people just
don't worry about it.
I'm
Guys.
looking for it.
Well, let's talk about Warner Brothers' statement.
Yeah,
what was
because this started building. Yeah, this started building. So finally, Warner Brothers did release this statement, and it says, "Gun violence in our society is a critical issue, and we extend our deepest sympathy to all victims and families impacted by these tragedies. Our company has a long history of donating to victims of violence, including Aurora. And in recent weeks, our parent company joined other business leaders to call on policymakers to enact bipartisan legislation to address this epidemic. At the same time, Warner Brothers believes that one of the functions of storytelling is to provoke difficult conversations around complex issues. Make no mistake, neither the fictional character of Joker nor the film is an endorsement of real-world violence of any kind. It is not the intention of the film, the filmmakers, or the studio to hold the character up as a hero.
Okay, so this is the one side of it is the conversation that we're having now and how important it is and whether or not it's valid, or I think it's valid for people to ask the question, but I also think that the responses have been valid also. The other side of this is the business side of it. People are talking about this movie. People are talking about this. Is this a thing that because people are talking about it rocks, that more people are going to see this? Yes. Is that 80 going to turn into 100? That projected 80, are more people going to see it now because of it? And will security amp up more around this movie?
That's also a very valid question.
I think the answer is yes.
I'm definitely. You guys know I already have my extreme fears of going to the movie and where I sit and whatnot. I was thinking about that with this one, just and especially because I've been talking to them about the premiere and whatnot, which seems like even though the security's high, the scariest place to go. I don't know.
Okay, you're thinking about it.
Well, I would have to receive the invite first, so I've been talking to them. Okay. We'll see. Are you going on Saturday?
Don't know yet.
Okay. So anyway, scary. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Of all different things in life, I'm afraid, but I don't know why I just keep having these visions.
You are 5'2".
5'3".
5'3".
Yeah,
that extra inch.
Right. That's why you couldn't be.
I have a friend that is not going to go for many weekends because he
too nervous.
Is nervous about, and I find that really shitty.
Yeah.
That we're
just
in
the world.
We're in that world.
Yeah.
We're in that world. When we went.
I understand your friend's concerns.
I do too.
Amanda's like you. When we were in Hobbs and Shaw, she couldn't take her eyes off this one lone kid in the audience, and I was like. Yeah. It's a legit fear that we have now, unfortunately.
Well, it's also the thing I hate to bring up is because there were stuff and because it was during the Dark Knight, and it was he thought he was the Joker, so it's like that's why I can understand why fears would go up.
The thing is, you could skip going to see and to your friend, I totally understand and I feel that, but what I try to tell myself is I could skip going to see the Joker and instead I could go to the grocery store.
And the same thing.
And the same exact thing could happen there.
Oh, 100%.
So it's like, unless you're going to literally stay inside your house and be somebody who does not leave,
right?
It's just as likely that you're going to get hit by a car on your way to the movie theater.
It's that's the whole point of domestic terrorism.
A lot more likely.
It's to cause terror, and it has even though those people, even a lot of those people who that took the carriageway out and took themselves out, right? They have completed their mission in terrorizing people, even that weren't necessarily directly affected by it, because like you, 10 years ago you weren't scared to go to the movies.
No,
right.
I wouldn't have even thought
and
about
now
it.
you are.
Yeah.
And so they, that's
an unfortunate. It was 10 years ago.
It's also why I stopped going to big festivals like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just it's a shitty time that we live in, but also I don't think that means that Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, and the people who make those movies should be criticized for it. I think that they should make the movie that they want to make and make them, because there were lots of movies that were like this or you look at a Taxi Driver or Mean Streets, movies like that this shit didn't happen back then. And the movies were, and there are a lot of Scorsese movies that are very fucking disturbing. Yeah. And,
and a lot of these chat spaces like 8chan or 4chan or whatever are fueling fires for, things like Charlottesville and all that kind of stuff, and creating a safe haven for people that shouldn't have that safe haven.
Yeah. All right.
So it's a tough
Parent
thing.
your kids.
Yeah.
Parent your children.
Seriously. Get them off those fucking websites.
Listen. It's a lot of that is valid. A lot of that is valid. Not all of it is too when it comes to mental health.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think it's where it starts.
It has a lot to do with it.
For people that are trying to point fingers at this movie, really, we need to be looking at ourselves and how we're teaching our kids.
I don't disagree with that, but I also think that there's sometimes it's different. It's different when it comes to just chemicals in the brain. And now whether that's past history and that's whether the things that happened is just.
So as a parent, if you feel like that you're seeing things in your kids that could be, I don't know what you want to call it.
Right.
This is
help and reports and all that. You want to be more involved. You need to be more involved.
You get involved with that, 100%. Right? Yeah.
You don't ignore
So I think that's what Roxy was saying. That's what I would say. Is that you want to know. You want to be asking questions to your kids.
Yeah.
My cousin is at risk to. My aunt and uncle adopted a child who was showing signs of violence, and he has been in institution for the last 3 years as a child, and pains them and it kills them, and sometimes they go to visit, and sometimes he won't see them. But he smashed open a picture frame and tried to hurt
himself.
No,
other
one
people.
of the siblings.
Oh, wow.
And you can't just ignore that. And a lot of these stories, what we have seen is that they have displayed something previously, that somebody did see something previously and didn't do anything about it.
Right.
And then it is on.
Well, that's 100% right, and that you got to act on it for sure. I'm just saying that you just never know. Like they reacted to it the right way.
Yeah,
So
you have to, even though it's your child, and even though, which I don't understand, obviously, the way that you do, but you have to.
Yeah, tough conversation to have, and unfortunately, we have to have it because of what's going on in the world and what's happening, and unfortunately, Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix do have to keep answering this question, and they have also the unfortunate thing is they have to cross their fingers and nothing happens during the run of this movie, and I'm gonna try to give the benefit of doubt to humanity on this one, and I think we're gonna be okay.